Hello, I'm Soprano Anjani Briggs. In the concert Echoes of Her, I will be presenting a traditional bhajan from the Hindu tradition, Aisi Lagi Lagan by Mirabai. I also have the pleasure of collaborating with Sheila Bristow and Elena Lewis on Honeyed Voices. And Mirabai is a poet, a saint, a composer who, from the 16th century, who from the time she was a young child had an extreme devotion to Lord Krishna, to the point that when she was married, she would like go around and sing about him and just venerate his name. And her in-laws outcast her. She was of royal standing. She let that go so that she could dedicate her life to that. And I think it is a really amazing example of how, you know, like now, hundreds of years later, she is somebody we all look at as a model in India, especially of how one should be. But back then, she was just treated like a crazy little girl, you know. And but that strength inside of her is something that's really, really powerful. For me, it's really special because being half East Indian and half American, music is the way that I was able to really connect to my culture. And then also being a woman in society, and also two different kinds of society, you know, and hearing her story of just like deep, compassionate existence and so freely being there in such an emotional way has been something from the time I first learned it, when I was like, I think I was like 13 or 14 when I first learned the song. And my mom has told me her story for so long. It is inspiring to me, and also makes me feel so connected to a part of my culture that is thousands of miles away and hundreds of years away. And so it really was a model for me growing up, and also seeing a woman in the story, you know, and like and that she's an important part of the story and not just like an accessory to a man's story, you know. Growing up, when I studied East Indian classical singing, both North Indian and South Indian, my voice was more choral, you know, and like people would make comments about that, and that was hard for me sometimes. But as I've gotten older and kind of stepped more into my own voice, like through opera and understanding chest voice and, you know, that kind of thing, finding a true place in my voice for it. So it really is a way that I can express, and it is a different identity within myself. And so yeah, there's some parts where you really hear like a lean into the harmonies, and it's much more like text painting with my voice. And like, yes, we have that in opera, but there's always this like, okay, techniques, stay hooked up, you know. And this, it's just, I really am able to like speak, and that is something that just feels so great at this stage in my life. I was able to really find my voice to begin with. Even though I studied it when I was younger, it felt like something I was doing outside of myself, where opera has always felt within me. And then realizing that kind of truth I can bring back to this, it is like such an amazing bridge for me that makes it so much more present. And so really they borrow from each other, right? So that like authenticity, both, and it feels like me, both things are true, you know, both things are true, and both exist simultaneously and without each other. It's just, you know, it's just, yeah, all encompassing. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to sing and collaborate with everyone involved, and I hope you come.